Okay, here I'm going to show you the features of an online spreadsheet program. We're using Google Sheets for this demonstration, but Microsoft Excel could be just as valuable and has the same capabilities. So I don't want you to necessarily focus on learning the syntax for this program. I just want you to know the capabilities of an online spreadsheet program. So first, how's a spreadsheet laid out? Across the top you see letters and those name columns which go up and down. Down the side you see numbers, and those name the rows which go sideways. An individual cell can be named with its letter and number. So A1, for example, is here. This would be C3 and so forth. We're going to put some column headers here. So I'm going to say item. I'm going to say quantity. Let's go price here. Quantity, total price, budget, and difference. And we're going to fill those out as we go. So we'll say expos, paper packs, pencil packs, staples. Let's go post-it notes. So the first thing is just some basics, some things that you can do, and some things you can do are alphabetize. If I said alphabetize, I would highlight it. I would go to data for Google Sheets, and you can see it says either sort column or sort the range. We want to sort the range here because we don't want item getting mixed up in there. And when I do that, post-it notes and staples happen to flip. We're going to say that expos cost $5 a box. Paper packs will say cost $1. Pencil packs $2. Post-it notes, I don't know, we'll say $3, and staples $2. I'm just kind of making these up just to demonstrate. And we'll say that 21 of these were bought, and for paper packs, we'll say that I don't know, 45. This is for the month of January. As you can see in my little tab down here. Pencil packs. We'll say for pencils that they did 48 of those. Post-its, only 9. And staple box, we'll say 10 of those. Okay. Now, first thing you might say is, well, I can't really see this too well. So what I'm going to do is show you some formatting that you can do, which is the same formatting you can do really for a word processor. So I'm going to change the color here to make them red. I'm going to make them bold. And I'm going to make the size go up to 18. Okay, when you do that, you can't see part of it, so you can also change the width of the column. So I'm going to do that here. And now they're a lot easier to see. Across the top, we'll do something similar. Let's italicize these, and we'll make them dark green. Actually, I filled in the box, which is something else you can do. That's fine. But I wanted to change the color. So dark green for that. And we'll also make those a little bigger. Okay, and we'll also widen the necessary columns. Okay, so that's one thing some things that you can do there. The numbers themselves you can also change if you wanted to. Other formatting things that you can do, if you wanted, we can change the price to a dollar amount, which is such a common item in a spreadsheet. So I'm going to hit this little dollar sign. Notice it changes to 2 decimal places, which is the way we do money. You could also, if you wanted to, fill in cells as we just showed you. You can change the order. You can do anything that you can do in a word processor. You can do in here as well. You can do the strike through option. If you wanted to get rid of something and so on and so forth. But let's next look at formulas. And there are 2 ways that you can make calculations in here. One would be with a written program formula, and the other would be with operational signs. So I'm going to first show you operational signs. The total price, of course, would be the price times the quantity. So I'm going to do price, shift number 8, which is the times the quantity, and then press enter. And what it does is Google Sheets here guesses that I want it in a dollar amount because I use the word price. It also suggests that I autofill. It kind of guesses what we want. So I'm going to click yes for that, and it shows you all the prices that we spent that month. Now let's suppose that it didn't autofill. That would be an easy fix. I could just highlight that. I could hit Control C, which is also a common word processor shortcut, copy. I could go down and then Control V. And it didn't do anything because it was already filled, but you have that in there as well. All right, so that's the operational, or one example of an operational. A programmed formula. Let's look at a programmed formula. I'll go over here and type total. Again, we might want to make that. Let's color this one in. We'll color it in green here. We'll change the size. Okay, to make it really stand out. But we want to know the total here. Now, adding up items is one of the most common features of a spreadsheet. And you could, like before, just click, plus, click, plus, click, plus. But that would get monotonous if you had to do that many times. All right, so what I'm going to use is the sum feature. I'm going to say equals, which when you type equals, it lets Microsoft Excel know, or Google Sheets in this case, know that you're about ready to compute something. Notice it's already guessing that I want the sum, but SUM, as I type it, will give you suggestions for all kinds of different formulas, and there's lots of them. But sum is one of the most common ones. So I'm going to do sum, and again, it's already kind of guessing what I want. I'm going to start with the parentheses. That means I want to add multiple things. I want to go from D2 to D6. Okay, so what I do is click D2, colon, and then click D6. That would be the entire range. Something happened there. Let me just type it in, D6. Okay, that would be the entire range. You can see it's highlighted here. It's going to report the total. $293 was spent. And you might want to make that green and that bold and larger as well. But $293. And if I change something, say somebody else come bought some staples, you can see not only the staples changed, but the total changed along with it. All right, so that's some of the common features. Let's say also that average is a common feature. We'll do, how about average price over here. And we also want to make that stand out a little bit, so we'll make it a little bit bigger, and we'll fill it with a different color here. We're going to do the average price for this column. So we'll say equals average. Okay, and again, it's Google Sheets here. It's guessing what I want. I'll open the parenthesis, and this time I'm just going to drag. Instead of doing the colon, you can drag just as easily. It highlights what we want. It shows that the average price of an item is $2.60. So another feature, another common formula. All right, so now let me show you VLOOKUP. VLOOKUP is a very powerful tool, and it's not a feature that a whole lot of people know about, but should really if you're working with spreadsheets. So VLOOKUP, what it does, it looks for some number, some entry among some other list. So let's say we have a list. We already have our budget up here. I've already preset a tab. And to get another tab, by the way, you just hit this plus sign and you can add a tab. But I already set up some information before the video here about what the budget is for several items. So to do a VLOOKUP, I want to copy this entire budget list. Or not copy it, I want to highlight it. I'm going to right click here and define named range. I want to call it budget. Microsoft Excel does the same thing. Okay, so now when I refer to budget, I'm referring to some other list which is actually off screen here. To do a VLOOKUP, it's a little bit complicated, but it's the same thing in Microsoft Excel. We need four things. I'm going to type in equals VLOOKUP. So notice it's suggested VLOOKUP. The first thing I need is, what am I looking for? Well, I'm looking for expos. So I'm going to click that cell, A2. Comma separates things. The second thing I'm going to do is, where am I looking for it? I'm looking for it in budget, which is that named list. The third thing, again, I separate with a comma. The third thing is, if I look at budget, which column or what do you want me to report? I want to report the second column. So I'll type that. I type a 2. All right. And finally, I'm going to type the word false. All right. Now, what false does is it requires an exact match. Seems kind of odd to call that false, but True would look for the closest thing. But now I have the budget reported here. All right, so it pulls it from a different list. Now, I know you could say, well, I don't want to just look for it in another list. Well, if I want to look for many, many things, what I can do here is just, again, copy and paste. We'll see if we have everything typed correctly. Okay, and it pulls all those items from the budget. Notice in the budget I had other items as well, and they weren't in the same order. It looks for it instead of us having to look through a massive list or sit there and type lots of things. I can just use that feature for one cell, cut and paste, and there you go. Let's say that if you look over here at Post-it notes, it's $35 budget. Let's say that we've noticed that a lot of people have been buying them or ordering them lately, and we're going to increase the budget. Let's increase it to $40. $40. Okay, notice what happens over here. The budget automatically changes to $40, which is a neat feature. Now, this final thing I want to set up is the difference here. So I'm going to go equals budget minus what we spent. Okay, and I want to copy that as well. Drag that down. Okay, and we notice that we have a couple items that went overboard. So I want to show you one more feature, the conditional formatting feature. Again, this is a little bit different Microsoft Excel, but it has that capability. I'm going to go conditional formatting. I also want to do the entire range, or we'll just do the F column, would be fine. So F1 through F6 in this case. And I want to format if cells are less than or equal to the number 0. Okay, that's bad. We want to make that red because we don't want to be below 0. And it flags immediately the items that you went over on. Okay, so that's a very neat feature too, for the spreadsheet to look among itself and find things that are kind of haywire. All right, so in this case, we're looking for something that is too much. Last thing I'm going to show you is you can make a demonstration of these things. So let's say we just want to know, we have a little chart here. So again, Microsoft or Google Sheets here does it a little bit differently, but I can make a nice demonstration of the price, quantity, and total price as an example. If I didn't want, say, price in there, I could remove it and just have those two. I could change this over to, say, a pie chart. And you can see where I'm spending my money. Let's say, for example, I notice there's a bunch of pencil packs here, but and not a lot of Post-it notes. Let's say that somebody come in and all of a sudden ordered 12 more Post-it notes. So it went up to 21. So watch that green section in my chart and watch the difference here. Everything's going to change. So notice the green chart got more substantial, the green section there. And notice that we're now over budget for Post-it notes because of the order. And there's all kinds of tools you can use to demonstrate. That would be a great tool to show the boss. Say, look, this is where we are. I can make another chart just showing the budget only. I could come and make a chart for that. And you can compare the two. Say I want to make a circle chart for that. Okay, and you can say, okay, well here's my two charts here. So notice this month versus what's normal here. Okay, and I know they're kind of overlaying each other here. But I just want to show you some of the features there between the two. And I could drag this and move it around if I wanted to, of using these spreadsheets. I encourage you to go out and practice. Try to use some of these tools and explore just what could you use to help yourself personally or to help yourself in your business.